Carol has abundant experiences in research, which including staff scientists at Columbia University, colleague and physicians and surgeons, medical oncology. Her teaching experiences began with leading semester-long courses at Harvard University Biology department while a postdoc. Before joining USC Keck School of Medicine, Carol also directed programs in biotechnology at Columbia University. Welcome, Carol.
Thank you.
And we have 3 alumni who will also share their insights on translational biotechnology. Welcome Angela, a medical device sales professional at Edwards Life Science based out of Irvine, California. She specialized in sales, business development, and project management. Welcome Keith, a member in Dr. Jianjun Chen Lab at City of Hope. He's currently dedicating his focus on contributing to projects in Chen Lab that will help advance cancer studies and treatment. And welcome Phoebe, a researcher in USC Keck School of Medicine, and Phoebe will also start her PhD studies in biology in fall. We're very lucky and grateful to have them with us. And dear audiences, please know that we will have the Q&A part of the speech where you can enter in your questions at any time in the Q&A box located at the bottom of the screen. We'll try to get many questions as we can at the end of the speech. Okay, without further ado, please join me in welcoming Dr. Lin and our alumni. Thank you.
Thank you, Kiara. And I want to thank USC International Academy very much for organizing this event and allow us to invite our alumni to come here to share their insight about USC and translational biotechnology, as well as their experience and what they are doing right now. Before I go right into the panelist discussion, I'm just going to take a couple of minutes to describe USC's master's program in translational biotechnology a little bit. Okay. So translation we really means is really from bench. This is a discovery discover in the laboratory bench to the bedside where we actually have a new therapeutic that really can benefit a patient. So this bench to bedside, the process of bench to bedside is what we term the translational biotechnology. And so there are many processes that lead to this side. But I just want to go very quickly that in this long process in the US, it's 15 years of $3 billion. It means that it really takes a lot of effort, a lot of knowledge, and a lot of people to do that. And so if we think about that and map our curriculum of the translational biotechnology, so each one of these boxes are different courses, and you will see that what we try to do is that we design our courses that cover the entire translation bench to bedside process. The process, I'm not going to get into any of the detail of this. Just want to mention that the whole process is going to take 1 year full-time or 1.5 to 2 year part-time. And after students go through this process, they go on to their career. And this is just some example of what the places where our graduate has been doing here. And today we are really very honored and happy to have 3 of our alumni to come to join us. And we have here Angela, we have Phoebe, and we have Keith. So this is what we have. So I'm going to stop share right now and go into our discussion. So I'm just going to be asking a few questions, and we'll let Angela, Phoebe, and Keith to tell us their story. So I want to first start by, could each one of you tell us briefly what you are doing right now? You know, we know your title, but what do you do really? So maybe we can start with you, Angela.
Yeah, so I'm working for a company called Edwards Life Sciences. It's based out of Irvine. They specialize in medical devices, primarily in the cardiac space. So what they're known for is they created the first artificial heart valve, and then they have different sections all based kind of off of that. So I'm in critical care, which is hemodynamic monitoring, which is measuring oxygen, tissue, and consumption throughout the body. So if somebody's on bypass surgery, then they'll be hooked up to our monitor, and we'll just make sure that they're getting adequate perfusion to all of their tissues, to their brain, to their organs while they're under anesthesia. So what I do is inside sales. It's a 2-year training position to go into outside sales. Inside means I work at corporate. I'm kind of the intermediary between corporate and the field team. So I assist the field team in understanding what the corporate initiatives are. If we have a new marketing program, if we have a new device, if we have a new like brochure or pricing, then that comes from us, and we communicate that to the sales team, and we support them while they're in the hospitals, they're dealing with the physicians, they're in surgeries. On a daily basis, I'm usually working from home or at the campus. And then once a month, I'm actually in the hospital with the rep. I've been in open heart surgery. I've been in many different types of surgery. It's really awesome. And we just, we are there as a resource for the physicians while they're using our products, just making sure, like if they have a question about the reading, if we need to troubleshoot something, or just kind of, you know, assist them if they have any questions. So yeah.
Well, that's great. Thank you. It sounds exciting. You are actually there in the open heart surgery.
Yeah, from start to finish, it's about, you know, 8 to 10 hours. So we go in, the patient comes in awake, they put them under anesthesia, hook them up to arterial line, and then open them up, take the heart out, put it back in, close them up. So it's amazing what you know doctors can do nowadays.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you very much. So maybe we can ask Phoebe. Can you tell us that your life now?
Yeah, I am currently working in USC Keck School of Medicine. I'm a researcher, and I'm working on several individual projects. I have been mainly focused on area related to this disease named myotonia dystrophy. And I'm focused on muscular pathology and looking for therapeutic such as drug screen and some potential targets. Maybe we can focus on right now. There's some new steps I'm focused on. It's really cool. I was able to look at isolate muscle fibers. That's something people not really do that much nowadays. And I can do fish hybridization. I can check the image. They are just pretty. I just have the feeling I want to print them out and become a poster in my room. Yeah, that's because I love pharmaceutical and therapeutic goals, related research.
That's great. And Phoebe, you have something exciting that's going to make some major change in the coming fall, is that right?
Yeah, I will be starting a PhD in biology department at UCSD.
Congratulations, very exciting. And now, Keith, can you tell us about your these days?
Oh man, it's busy. In fact, I was just in the lab before joining this meeting. I'm actually still in the lab. I just hit in an office to join this meeting, but so yeah, I'm a research associate here at City of Hope. It's pretty nice. Very busy, however. As a research associate, my role is to help everybody in the lab with their projects. That includes PhDs, the postdocs. But there's also individual duties I have to follow up on myself. So that includes managing the animal facility, taking care of all the mice strains that everybody in my lab is working on, and also genotyping those mice once we get the strains that we want. And that's pretty much it. It sounds like a little, but big picture wise, it's actually a lot. Managing a lot of things in the lab, a lot of little things as well, including stocking up on inventory and just keeping the lab organized as well. And the cool thing about this is that since I'm involved in pretty much everybody's projects, I get to try out a lot of wet lab techniques and get to be involved with a lot of the little things that they follow up on as well. So it's pretty fun, busy, but you get to learn a lot here.
Yeah, it sounds like you're doing a lot of many different things, and you are not only responsible for your own project, you are actually managing many other people's So if you don't do a good job, their research is not going to go on.
Yeah, and they roast me pretty hard because it all starts with the little things, to put it that way. So
Yeah,
find this stuff, then they're really gonna get on me. So it's attention to detail here.
Very good. Yeah. So I want to move on to my next question is that I know this has been a couple of years ago, but why did you decide to do a master's degree in translational biotechnology, and why did you choose USC to do your master's? So maybe going backward, maybe we can ask Keith to start.
Why I decided to do a master's program?
Yeah.
So after my bachelor's at UCI, I found myself not really ready for the industry or wherever I wanted to move on to next. I wanted to stay in school for a little bit longer, particularly to get more research experience. And I managed to do that at USC, but also I feel like my bachelor's education in the sciences wasn't too focused. It was very broad in the sense that like you touch on a lot of like electives, upper division, lower division, but during that time I didn't find a class where I really enjoyed particularly. I wanted to focus more on biotech, but my time at UCI, I didn't really have a class like that. So I was fortunate to find the master's program at USC. The Translational Biotech program offered a lot of classes, and that really focused in on the fields that I wanted to explore in my for my career. So that was the main reason, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, very good. And how about you, Angela? Angela, why did you decide to do a master's degree, and why USC's Translational Biotechnology program?
Yeah, I kind of, what Keith said, after I finished my bachelor's, I knew I wanted to be in the medical device field, but I didn't feel that the work experience that I had in sales, a different industry, not healthcare related at all, was enough to get me there. And I just also felt kind of shaky in my knowledge of how the whole process worked. What I liked about USC's program was that there were many different options based on your career path. You could do sales, you could do business, you could do research. So you weren't limited by, just kind of one type of career. So even like all of my classmates, we're all in different fields now. We're in regulatory, bioinformatics, and research. Some are PhD students. So I thought that was really cool. It was, very tailored to what you wanted to do as a specific individual and not just broad. Yeah.
Great, thank you. And how about you, Phoebe?
After I graduated from my college, I worked in a pharmaceutical company for a while. The process of the transform and raw data, the experimental result to a real clinical product, it was just very attractive to me. I just only know how scientists works, but I didn't know what happened after scientists hands out this result, this molecule, this method. So how to test in human, how to prove the efficacy, safety, where's the money from? And how to protect this technology? I just have so many questions. So the same, right now people are talking about RNA vaccine. That's the same as I always show off, do you know who has the patent? Do you know how they test them, clinical trials? That was my master major. I learned this, I'm professional in this field. So yeah, I basically target my major. I choose to apply USC Translational Biotechnology program. And I know this program can answer lots of my questions and help me have bigger pictures, just answer my questions.
That's great. So here, thank you very much. I think that is really cool. The fact is that I never really get to ask this kind of question when you are a student. So it's nice that I'm hearing this the same time as our audience are. I'd like to switch the conversation over to while you are a student in USC. I know that this, half a year, 2 years ago, but the first thing I want to really ask you is that when you first start out, do you find it difficult to transition into a learning environment that maybe or maybe not different from where you're used to when you first started? Do you feel something different? Maybe Phoebe, that you can start first.
I left the home for my college. It's not in foreign country, just a different city. So I was thinking I was very independent at the time. But when I arrived in the US, it was like difficult at the beginning. Mostly the stress is just from homesickness and this insecure feeling in foreign country. I just worry about people judge my accent, or like I just too shy to speak out. But I think thanks for like USC, also the locations in Los Angeles, I think the diversity in people's background here actually helped me feel more comfortable during the time. My lab, we have like people from everywhere. It's like no one cares about your accent. We understand each other, we get each other, we love each other. So I think I eventually adapt the environment pretty quick, and I think just keep open-minded and then enjoying the challenge. It's not a problem.
Great, great. How about you, Keith?
For me, the transition wasn't too tough, to be honest, because I just graduated from my bachelor's. And I went straight into this master's program here. So environment-wise, it wasn't too big of a shift for me because going from Irvine to LA, distance-wise as well, it wasn't like a big transition for me. I would say the classes though at USC in the Translational Biotech program, it was a shocker for sure because you know, your bachelor's and undergrad, your class sizes range from like a couple hundred people, but like in master's in the Translational Biotech program, all the classes were condensed to like 20-ish people around. So you get to really interact with students, and Dr. Lynn actually does a really good job of doing that, encouraging class interaction and building teamwork, camaraderie, just getting to know everybody there. So that I feel was a really good thing that's different from like undergrad, where you might not get a chance to really get to know all your classmates, especially if there's like hundreds of something people there in each class. So that was something I really enjoyed for sure in the my time at USC. So yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And how about Angela? Is there any strange transition that you felt when you start?
Not really. I enjoyed it because like Keith said, I came from like, you know, very big classrooms, very big programs to, you know, our small little room, like really small room with 30 people in it, maxed out. But we all got to become really close. And I think I'm very grateful we had the chance to come on campus that first year all together. We all rode the bus together, like the shuttle, you know, we had lunches together and night classes. So really got to form strong bonds with people before we shifted to this virtual model. So we were still kind of able to maintain those connections.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. And I remember that my office is right next to the big conference room that we use for classes. And I would just hear the conversation. I would hear laughter there. And I think that, what is so fun? You're supposed to be working on homework. So, you know, I think that there must be something actually looking back. Hopefully that is kind of a pleasant experience. But Angela, you mentioned about the lockdown and the pandemic. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about how does the pandemic affect you? So for Angela and Keith, it happened right in the middle of the second semester. And for Phoebe, Phoebe has finished taking most of the courses and was really started to working in the laboratory. And all of a sudden we were told to go home. So how does that affect you? Angela, maybe you can start.
I mean, it was strange to, you know, it kind of happened. I remember, and I don't know if this was intentional by USC, we had this like the blue jeans, like we're just going to practice in case something happens, what it would be like to do a virtual meeting from home. And then I think a week later or 2 weeks later, we actually all had to stay home and do this online learning. And I think it was kind of sad because we were together so much, so often. And kind of the conversations that you have that are not intentional, because now if I call my classmate, it's for a reason. It's because I need to say something. It's because we've planned something to talk about. But just the conversations that you have sitting next to somebody during a break, a bathroom break or a lunch break, that's when you really kind of get to know somebody. And I definitely missed that. I think we didn't end up getting together until graduation again. And
Yeah.
that was last week.
Yeah.
So it was almost a year of not seeing each other.
Yeah. How about you, Phoebe? How does that affect you? Does it affect you at all?
I'm lucky. So I was chosen as the essential personnel for my lab. So for like several months, I was just work alone in the lab to continue essential experiment, maintain lab condition, work on my own project. I learned to work very independently. I just plan everything by myself. And I actually just improve my communication skills because I have to talk to everyone's project, everybody every day about, well, how's your mice, how's this project, how's everything going. But yeah, it can be lonely, but I dance sometimes during the break for the experiment just for fun. So yeah, I actually like gain a lot of experience, and that become my strengths after all. So I got lucky, I would say that.
Right. Just a quick question though, do you feel uneasy and unsafe that you actually have to go into work?
Because I'm the only one going to the work, and also because I drive by myself, and I'm not really like have meeting other researchers or something. So, and also USC has very good system to check, do you have you have the COVID test once a week. You have to have the pass to get inside the building, and people will check on you. People will make sure everyone keep the safe distance and wear mask, all the safety protections. So I think, yeah, I feel safe.
That's great. That's great. And how about you, Keith?
All right, before I get to my feelings about like the whole COVID situation, I do want to follow up on what Phoebe just said about like that COVID testing protocol for USC. So because I actually finished my classes for a whole semester before the commencement just a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't do any of that COVID testing since during that time frame they implemented it, I think it almost cost me, like, it complicated my entry to the Coliseum because like I didn't do the COVID testing until that commencement day because obviously I didn't need to go on campus for all that time until that day. So my Trojan check didn't work. But luckily the guards let me through because yeah, sure, it's just commencement, whatever, you can come. But I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, their system of doing that was pretty good to the point where it was too good. But yeah, but back to the question though. The COVID testing, I'm sorry, not COVID testing. The COVID situation, I think it did take me some time to adjust to everything, especially not being able to go on campus. Angela covered it pretty well on how we had to like go virtual for the rest of that last semester, the spring semester. Yeah. So it got kind of bad because we didn't get a chance to like see each other in person anymore, especially after, like I mentioned before, where we had like that close-knit group, that 20 to 30 something people per class. So we really got to know each other really well. And it just sucked because like we didn't get the chance to like see each other and work together anymore. Instead, we had to like go our separate ways, go virtual and just see each other through the monitor. But definitely took time to get adjusting to, and we all just made the most of it. And in the end, we came out okay, I think.
Yeah, I think so. That when we first have moved, that very sudden, even with a little bit of the practice, now this is for real. We are all home and we are all looking at this monitor. It really took most of people, myself included, quite a while to really get into the mode to be able to engage because we just engage differently. But like Keith said, that it took a while, but we learned how to do it. And then at the end, we come out of this and, because now we know how to really, really make ourselves really into those situations. So right? It's really,
Dr. Lin.
yes, I am having some strange things with my speaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was breaking up there for a couple seconds.
Yep.
And again.
It keeps going on mute.
I know it keeps going on mute. I don't know. Was I doing something? All right, I'm going to watch it. I want to get on to the next question is that whether we're talking about pandemic or not, it doesn't matter. Can you think of one thing that you felt is really, in terms of the while you are in USC, something that's really most challenging to you? Well, how do you deal with it? And in hindsight, would you have done anything differently regarding to the challenging part? Should we have Phoebe, you start?
Yeah. The challenging I had was the beginning of doing research. It was the research failures. So I was always top student in the class. I'm very competitive. I want to be the best. I want to work hard. But research is not really like give you whatever you want right away. And I always connect those failures with myself and make it so personal. It's like secretly cry, sometimes not secretly cry. Like just I eventually understand when I learn to do this experiment, it's when I'm doing troubleshooting. This is research. Basically, you research and it's a learning process. So right now, I'm just really enjoying troubleshooting, and I have my notes about what exactly was going on, like if this, what to do, if that, what to do. That's my experience. That's the thing I really treasure about.
That's great. Thank you. How about you, Keith?
Challenging moment. Can't think of one at the moment, but if I had to, I think we'd have to go back to like the whole COVID situation and the whole shutdown that we had to deal with, and just adjusting to a new learning, system in which like we had to go virtual. We can't meet in person anymore. I can't see Dr. Lin in person anymore and listen to her awesome lectures on the board. But it all takes time to getting used to, and in the end, we all persevered and made it to the end. Dr. Leonard did a really good job of holding us together as a group, just telling everyone like, hey, we can make it through this, and there's going to be one day where we can all meet together again. And obviously my class didn't get to, have another in-person, class together before we graduated, but, for the upcoming class, I'm pretty sure they will get a chance to do that. And the main takeaway from that would probably just be to just settle into your new situation the best you can and just adapt. Everything depends, and just remember that.
Yeah, it depends.
It depends, for sure.
Yes. How about you, Angela? What will be the biggest challenge?
I think it was really challenging trying to find an internship, especially with COVID. I think we weren't expecting that obviously to happen, and a lot of us had planned to use that summer time to do internships, and we were just confident, yeah, we'll just reach out and people will let us in and we'll be able to do it. And that in itself is hard under normal circumstances, but then you add COVID and everything shut down, and they basically said, oh, just reach back out when this is over, reach back out when this is over. So I think to have been better prepared for that, I would have liked to strengthen my relationships with more of the faculty, more of the students in other programs, more like attend more seminars at USC, and then also just follow up with the people who came and did seminars for our class and just try and work on relationship building, because that was the way I got my internship. And it sounds like a lot of people did as well, was you had to lean into those and say, hey, like, I really need this. Do you know somebody? And, they would help you out. I think that's a big thing I would have done differently.
That's great. That's great, because this really perfectly leads me to the next block of the question that I'd really like to bring up. And that is really the career development. like how did you think about what you're going to do after you graduate? So let me first asking like, how do you actually set your long-term and short-term goal? Who wants to start? Keith, you want to go ahead?
Sure. Okay. So during my time in the program, I made my short-term goals realistic in the sense that, okay, I got to finish this program. I got to make it through this program. Try to find some research experience. That was the main takeaway that I wanted to get out of this program. Going back to like, what I mentioned before during my undergrad experience, I didn't have enough focus in what I wanted to do, but here in the master's program, I did manage to do that. So that was one short-term goal you could say that I got done. And long-term goal would be, what's the next step after the program? So, and it's important for these things to like plan ahead of time, or at least, think about it here and there, than just like putting it off till the end. Manage time well. And, during that last semester, I remember before, I left USC, I was already searching around for internships, looking for job opportunities, and, getting my profile, CV, resume, all that stuff ready to go. And I ended up here at City of Hope. It was tough, a couple interview rounds, but it paid off. Preparation is key in these situations, especially like for both short-term and long-term. You got to think ahead and plan your time and what you want to do well, and it pays off. That's all I got to say.
Great. And how about you, Phoebe?
How did I set up? Basically, I set up with you. Yeah, I remember this program. They provide me like a lot of platform to different career paths: consultant, patent lawyer, industrial, hospital, clinical scientist. So like I remember after class, I just have so many things in my head. So I got lucky. I had lots of like one-on-one time with you actually, because COVID they couldn't have that chance, but I had. So I had it, and I had like so many ideas in my head, and I talked to you, and you helped me narrow down. It's like, oh, if you don't like this, you couldn't do that. If you like this, like we should like try some other direction or try this direction. We exclude lots of the paths I won't like. And because I'm interested in pathology and in neuroscience, you will recommend me a book. It's actually on the table. And it's, yeah. So I was like, so we maybe can try to do research in the like pathology therapeutic direction. And you were like, okay, but first of all, you have to know that's a hard thing. You have to make sure you enjoy it. So you and another professor, I don't remember his name, he was just passed by our like room. He was like, oh, I just overheard your conversation. What I did before of looking for like position in the lab is I just sent letters to all the professors and see who get back to me. And I did exactly the same. I sent up like 50, like 60, a lot of emails, like get some back. And I got the opportunity to work hands-on, and I enjoyed it. I remember I emailed you, I was super excited. I was like, I like it. And then we narrowed down the short-term goal is like, okay, maybe you can try to do PhD if you have more motivation on the research. It was like, okay, let me try another year. I tried it, I like it, got it.
Great. Yeah, I do remember that we were talking, and it is Dr. McEachran, and yeah, he's office was next door. He was just walking by, and he heard our conversation, and he jumped in. And that's really what it is that when we get back to in person, that's what the department is, that we will step in when we really think that is something that's really helpful. We're not going to say that, hey, that's your job, that's not my job. So that's kind of bring back the memory. And how about you, Angela? How did you set your short-term and long-term goal?
I think I started by kind of like analytically thinking, okay, what are my skill sets? What is the experience I have right now? And that was sales, business, marketing. And then I thought about, okay, what excites me though? What do I want to do with that? where I feel passionate about it. And that's where and Keith probably knows, and my other classmates, where I said, I want to be in the operating room. I want to be in the hospitals. I want to be with the surgeons. So naturally that led me to, medical device sales. And then, for long term, I thought about lifestyle. Sales is a very high intensity, very demanding, long hours. I mean, our reps are there from 4 a.m. when the first case goes until 3 p.m. And then they come back in for the night shift to go into the ICU at 11 o'clock. So it's very grueling and it's not sustainable, for long term. So I also really enjoy project management and research and development. So I think that's where I kind of, now with the company that I'm in, is you get that sales experience. And then once you're kind of done and ready to make kind of a shift, you're still working with products, you're still going into the field, but you're using that knowledge to develop and innovate new products.
That's great. And Angela, you actually answered already my next question. So I'm going to
keep doing that.
No, this is perfect. It's excellent. My next question is really going to ask, so now Phoebe and Keith, is what do you think that you would like to do in terms of long term? Phoebe, you're not going to be graduate student forever. Keith, I don't know. You haven't told me that you want to be really in a research lab in this particular lab forever. And if that's the case, what do you think that you want to do 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Phoebe, you want to start first?
Yeah. I want to become a researcher working. I even don't care. It's like academia or industry, but related to the therapeutic, pharmaceutical development, research, and R&D, because I care about patients. I want to do something close to them, make some changes. That's just my passion. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. And Keith?
Similar along the lines of what Phoebe just said, but probably focus more towards the industry. I've been in academia for a while now, including my time here at City of Hope. I want to explore the other side, the other field, you could say, to see what things are like in the industry field. I never had a taste of it yet. It'd be nice to see how it is.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah. Imagine, yeah.
Yeah. So now I want to really ask you that, thinking about what you're doing right now, as well as what you think that you will be doing in the future, and looking back to really see the kind of thing that the courses, the interaction, anything that you gain from being in the translational biotechnology. What kind of skill that you think that is helpful, either the technical skill, the actual thing that you learn, or the transferable skill, or the friendship that you make? Do you think of anything, I hope, that you think that is actually useful for what you're doing now and what you were thinking for the future?
I can start. I think just every class was kind of based around critical thinking and, being in charge of yourself, and this is your education, and if you will get as much out of it as you put in it. And same thing with work. You could wait for somebody to tell you what to do and give you a list of things to do, or you can, take it upon yourself to recognize if you could do a project here or somebody needs help here. And just that encouragement to take charge of, your education, of your workload, of what you're doing.
Great, thank you very much. And Phoebe?
I would say knowledge for sure. Like where I learned the basic knowledge, biology knowledge, which helped me understand my research faster. And I was able to get hands-on faster because we already go over those knowledge in our class. And I also learned a lot of knowledge in biomedical direction about a lot of therapeutic knowledge, like antisense nucleic acid, siRNA, aptamers as therapeutic. It's really helpful for me because that is my direction. So right now I'm looking for future lab. I will just search those keywords. I get them. I understand what they are doing. What I will do, and I will like it well. way we have the bench.
That's great. And how about you, Keith?
In terms of classes, I definitely would say your class, Dr. Lin, was the best class I took in the entire program. And I'm not being biased or anything. It was the intro class. I believe it was 536.
Right.
Primer class, yeah.
Primer.
For all who's planning and probably will get into the program, like that class, we're gonna love it. It's headed by Dr. Lin. She teaches you a lot, and it's applicable, especially if you're going into research. A lot of the stuff that she covers, molecular biology skills and all that good stuff. It's I still apply those techniques that like critical thinking skills and all that I got from that class here at City Hope. So it's really good. And something that I feel gets overlooked is the people that you meet here. Great faculty, Dr. Lin being one of the best there is. Also, your classmates are going to be really special. I keep in touch with them still, and we all get along really well. And they help you a lot in class as well, and also outside of class. Meet up, hang out, but also in class, you get to help each other out with homework, especially that primer class. I mentioned before, like Dr. Lin really encourages teamwork. So y'all gonna need each other to survive and also to pass the class. So something to keep in mind.
Yeah. Well, Keith, thank you very much for all those kind words. And I remember that the primer class is probably one of the most complained class, being very difficult, being homework takes forever. And but it is true that Keith was telling the truth that for the homework, I actually expect and I encourage students to do their homework together. So not cheating, but work together on your homework. So thank you very much, Keith, for that. So I can see that we have a question come out. So I want to really kind of wrap up my part of it. And just two more questions. One is pretty quick. What is the most fun, the funnest thing that you can think of? Just something quickly, something fun when you are in the program. Is there any? Yes, Phoebe.
Yeah, I love this question. So we have a class, I don't know, I think you guys should have the same class named Seminar in Translational Biotechnology.
Yeah, sure.
So I was like, seminar, just be there, sit and listen. What else I can do about it? So it is like not that kind of seminars. Like it is, we got to choose topic, what kind of topic we want to listen, who we want to talk to, and we or actually the person actually invite and the host speakers. So we got to have a chance to invite other scientists, CEO of a consultant company, that's me. Okay, lawyers and angel investors. And we got to ask them their daily life and how their industry works. And some speakers just came with like their schedule. Like, hello.
Yes. Uh-oh.
Okay, you're back.
Yeah.
So I think just no one else you can have those kind of opportunity to get close to a CEO of their of a biotechnology company to say, oh, what exactly you doing every day. Even you are intern, you will not have the opportunity. You have to be their secretary. So it was such a great opportunity to set up connections for your career like network. I also just help you make decisions. I know after my speaker, I know a couple of my classmates actually set up the connection with my speaker. They work on their project after. And I also know some of my classmates just come to me, told me like, I'm glad I got this seminar because I was thinking about this industry right now. I don't like it anymore. It's too intense. I don't like it. I was like, okay, good for you. Like we know now. So it's just a really cool opportunity. I loved it.
That's great. That's really great. How about you, Angela? Anything fun that you remember?
Yeah, I remember, I think this must have been a team building exercise or something we did where it was like, if you were on a, deserted island, like what are the items that you would take and to survive? It was like a Navy SEAL, like design this thing or something. So I don't remember, but I just remember everybody had such different, ideas and, was kind of like, you had to come into a group and agree and everybody, would be like, no, we need the mirror or we need the rope. And just doing that. It's just funny. You get to learn other people's personalities.
That's great. That's a lot I see. Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. And Keith, anything fun that you remember?
Yeah. I just remember having fun in Dr. Lynn's class pretty much every day. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm just gonna leave it at that. Yeah. Anytime I class Dr. Lynn's, I'm having fun. Yeah.
Now that's really pressure because I'm preparing to give the class again next semester.
Everybody out there, you're gonna have a great time in Dr. Lynn's class.
Yeah. All right. So I want to wrap up and asking each one of you to give our audience who is contemplating a come to the program, the career, the project, the classes. What kind of advice can you give it to them now that you're an expert? You've been through this. Keith, do you want to start?
Wait, what was the question again?
The question is that what kind of advice that you can give to our audience who are thinking about applying and joining the Translational Biotechnology program or thinking about your career path? What advice can you give it to them?
First off, you all don't even need to think about it. You should just apply to this program because it's awesome. It's great. Dr. Lynn is going to be teaching a lot of classes, so it's already great there. But more importantly, for career advancement and stuff like that, I feel like it's a great opportunity to really build up your skills, whether they be soft or your wet lab skills. If you can find research opportunities here, which you absolutely will be able to because this program sets you up perfectly for that. So yeah, short-term, long-term wise, it's this program is a really beneficial, and I definitely recommend it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Phoebe?
Yeah, I will speak for international students who will be very new to this country. It will be first, now, do not be afraid of challenging yourself. You will be fine. I'm fine. You will be fine too. Second, speak out. Don't be shy. Ask questions. The professors in our program is really appreciate and encourage questions, interactive environment. That's what we want. So just don't sit there and be quiet. That's not the way you learn. Yeah, and mostly probably try to have some experience and make sure you love it before you really commit to a career path. And I think our program just provides this opportunity.
That's great. That's great. And Angela, can you give us some advice?
Yeah, I would say look for a mentor within the program. The faculty members are so diverse in their experiences and their disciplines in their careers, and just finding somebody who is in the same field or has had experience in something that you want to do, and just go to them and ask them to guide you through the process or give you advice. I think that's probably the best advice I could give.
But that's great. Well, thank you so much. It is it's such a treat for me. And I'm not even thinking about applying to the program. And I really appreciate very much it. And you can see that it makes my day to really see our graduate come back and really talk about their experience. So we see that I have some question from the audience. So I think that I'm going to let Kiara take over, and then she will manage the Q&A session from the audience.
Thanks so much, Dr. Carol and Angela, Keith, and Phoebe. Thanks for your presentation and discussion. The panel discussion has covered almost all the aspects that students are interested in. It's so perfect. Yeah, I noticed that audience already have some questions. We can take questions from the Zoom chat first. And at first, thanks, Keith wrote to answer the first one.
Oh, yeah.
And for the second one, for international student, is it hard to get an OPT opportunity? Is it hard to get an H-1B visa? Who will take this question?
OPT opportunity, like the first year of OPT is come with your I-20 visa. After you graduate from your program, you will have 1 year of OPT opportunity if you have there's certain requirement. You have to have a job in 30 days, I believe. But you will have your OPT visa first. That's the time you apply for a job. So they will give you an OPT for sure for the first year. And then I don't know anyone who failed their like OPT extension for the second and third year. I don't know anyone who failed that. People just get this. I cannot speak for H1B yet. I haven't have experience with that.
Thank you, Phoebe. And for the second one, would you mind to share your major in integrated? You are very excellent, terrific. I wonder if I am well prepared or if my background is suitable. My major is clinical study. Thank you. I think this question may be referred to Phoebe because in other media platforms, we also have audience ask that you have got a bachelor's degree in China before studying in USC, and now you're working in tech school. Would you please share your programming or plan where you set a specific goal before doing something?
Oh, okay. There's two questions, right? The first
Yeah.
is what's my undergrad major. My undergrad is biology, but I would say clinical study. I probably cannot speak for Dr. Lim, but I think it's perfectly match our program because I do know we have, Dr. Lim, do we have some MD in our class, right?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we do have a MD from the class. So maybe I can answer this one. Is that it's the most important thing I would say that is to make sure that you have enough biology understanding. It really doesn't matter whether you are major in clinical, in basic biology, and I read one of the chapters say they major in maybe business. The thing is that Keith keep talking about this course, right? This is biotechnology primer. That course that you just cannot start without some biology background. But if you have biology background, then I think that will be fine. And what we really trying to do is that we really try to have the kind of project, and we try to a certain extent, to really customize what students really want to do. But again, that is the basic biology. You got to know your biology, you got to know your genetics, you got to know your molecular biology, and we can go from there on.
Yeah, and what's the second question? I'm sorry,
That's okay. Our audience noticed that you have got your bachelor's degree in China before studying USC. It's very terrific. And now you're working in tech school. Would you please share your programming while you set a specific goal before doing something?
I would say my bachelor degree is in Sichuan University, and it was biology major. And yeah, I talked about this earlier. Like I have very curious mind. So while I was working for a pharmaceutical company, actually just a couple months, it's not long, I just got really curious about, I only know the scientist part. I only know how it works in the lab. So what happened when we hand out a molecule out? Who make it become a drug? Who tests them? Like how to make sure the efficacy, safety, and who gives the money? Who patent it? Who owns it? I was just have a very curious mind. I want to get the big picture of biotechnology. I was like, I have to know the big picture, and then I will know where is the best place I want to go. So I narrowed this down by I participate lots of seminars. I talk to speakers. We have like Dr. King and several other professors. Actually, they are also own their own companies. So they taught us a lot of things about how industry works, how everything works. And then I just get narrowed down. So like pathology looks like something I'm really interested in, and I will try it out. So yeah, that's the way.
Thank you, Phoebe, and thanks, Carol. And the next question is it easy to find a job in USC with translational technology background? What makes you outstanding compared with other candidates when you're looking for a job? Who will address it? Maybe Keith or Angela?
Keith, I'll let you take it because I think the next one is for me.
Wait, what was the question again?
Okay. Is it easy to find a
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
It depends, and I'll say it right now. If you get into the program, that's gonna be like the moral of your time there. It's like everything depends. But for my case, I just got lucky. I mentioned it earlier during the panel, like I was already looking for job opportunities like during my last semester there. And one of the places I applied to was the City of Hope position that I got into now. There were 2 rounds, and it was pretty interesting because like the first round, I actually did a really good job. They replied back to me. They said they really liked me, but because I applied so early, they told me that I wasn't ready. Like I told them I wasn't ready to join because I still had like half the semester to go, so I can't join your guys' lab yet. So they said, "Oh, that's a bummer. All right, we're just gonna give your spot to somebody else then. But you can ask again like when you're about to graduate." So I was like, "Oh, okay." So at first I thought they were just saying that to be polite. They weren't gonna offer me anything anymore. But then I applied again, during like my last month of my program. So I emailed them again, and they were like, "Oh, you're still interested? That's great because like we actually have another opening now." I'm like, "Oh, that's great," So that was my second round interview, just to refresh everything, get to know everybody again. But also during that second meeting, I met with my future boss. So they one-on-one interviewed me, and they got to know my personality, like get to know like my skills better. And that went great as well. So in the end, I got the position, and here I am. So you never know with these things. I think I got lucky, but maybe it was meant to be. I'm not sure. But luck favors the prepared, as they say. So make sure to grasp every opportunity there is, and I'm sure things will go well.
Yeah. If I allowed may just add something. Now, I don't think Keith is lucky because Keith is prepared, and he started working in the laboratory from the get-go, from the first semester, and he has been really working in the laboratory, and he's prepared. He works very hard for his courses, and he look out for opportunity, and that's how you get a job. I think that you can't just be lucky, you have to be good. And I think Keith is really both good and lucky to really get the job.
Thanks, Carol. This part is very important, and Keith is truly humble. Okay, next one is for Angela. Can you please share your experiences for the interview for your current job? Any suggestions or tips?
Yeah, and I'll kind of speak to the previous question as well. I actually found it pretty difficult to find a job. I sent out my resume probably to 100 job postings a month and never heard anything back. I think what is important is what I mentioned before, is building relationships and using those relationships to help you when you're seeking a job. Recommendations will make all the difference, and that's how I actually got this job at Edwards. And I guess the tips for interviews, I also interviewed for Stryker, which is a big surgical equipment. They do orthopedic implants, things like that. And at the time I wasn't really ready. I was still within the program, so I wasn't ready to start. So I think I didn't really, give it my all. But by the time I got to Edwards, it was, I was already graduated, already finished my my internship, and I really wanted the job. So when I got to my third interview, they were honest with me, and they said, "Hey, we think you're overqualified, so we don't want you to be in this position and use it as kind of like a landing place until your next job, just bouncing here and out. We're looking for something long-term." And I just had to tell my interviewer, as well as the person who was going to be my manager, how much I wanted the job and how committed I was to that. And literally, at the end of the interview, I reminded them, I want this job. I'll be committed to it. I'll give you a minimum of 2 years. And that is what she said in the end, convinced her to give it to me. So I think just showing who your authenticity, that you really wanted, you really want that position, why you think you're good for it, and that you'll be committed to it. I think that says a lot.
Thanks so much, Angela.
Mm-hmm.
And for the next one, maybe Carol can take this. My undergraduate major is marketing. Am I qualified to apply this program?
And so, again, that the most important thing is not the major, but rather whether you have the required biology background. So I think that if you have taken biology, regardless of your major, that will be just fine. If not, then I would say first to really get some of the basic biological sciences under your belt. And I know that a lot of places that you can actually take some courses, not in a degree program, and you don't have to have the entire major worth, several courses, but will be the basic general biology, modern biology, cell biology, molecular biology, genetics, biochemistry. Those will be really the important thing to make sure that you have before you start the program.
Yeah, thanks, Carol, for the details. Next one, what's the requirement for the vaccination in USC now? Who has to do the vaccination now?
Well, I don't really know. I think that the USC is required that the student must be vaccinated to participate in any in-person class. Okay, and so that is it. And but I don't know how you're going to get it. That's the one part that I'm not quite sure. And I think that we are all still waiting to really see what the official thing in terms of the mechanic. But right now is that we do require students to be vaccinated. If you don't have vaccine, you're not going to be able to participate in any in-person classes or activity. And so that's pretty much it. That's all I know, unfortunately.
Thanks, Carol. And we got a very interesting question in the Zoom. Thanks so much for your sharing for the value of the information. Angela, do you mind to share the color number of your lipstick?
It's called Spirit. It's from MAC.
Okay, thanks so much. This audience I'm sure this audience have noticed this information just to buy this one. Okay, next question. What are the backgrounds of admit students' major and work experience? I think this question, Carol just mentioned some information. Let's just skip this one. And next one. Hi, Keith. I'm also interested in doing research. How did you get the position in the lab in City of Hope? Can you share more information? And by the way, we got another one from the other media platforms. Ask that, would you mind to share more information about the City of Hope? Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to. Am I allowed to share a screen here?
Of course.
Oh, cool, yeah. I'm just gonna do that. Let's see here. All right, so can y'all see the screen?
Yeah.
What's video? Okay, yeah. So this is actually the job page that I used to apply to this position, because it all started with this class I took also within the biotech program. It's led by Dr. Cox, and he previously worked here, and during that class there was a day in which he shared all about his experiences here, and it was great. That got me, that got me into it. And plus, this is actually really close to City of Hope. That is, it's actually really close to where I live. So location-wise, it was also very appealing. And reputation-wise, it's City of Hope. It's great. So great for research. So I just did this on the spot, but what you do is just let me see if I can go back here. So literally all I did was City of Hope jobs on Google, right? And then I clicked on the first page, and it's City of Hope career jobs, and it leads you to here. What I did back then was, I'm interested in research. I'm just going to go on ahead and do that. And here it lists out all sorts of positions. Here you go. And the one I was interested that fits my profile and my CV and stuff like that was research associate level 2. Because that's a really well-fitted position for those that, after they get their master's, they're still looking for more experience and also get more exposure to at the field in which they want to focus their research on. So that's what I did. So hopefully that's pretty clear and gives you an idea on how the job searching steps are and it's quite similar, if not exactly similar, for a lot of jobs as well. I feel it's you literally just search up what you're interested in and see if it fits your bill. You know, if the job description fits and it looks interesting to you, then you just go for it and you start sending your resume and stuff like that, and hopefully you get a response. It's tough. You got to get lucky with these things, but like I said, just be prepared and be confident in yourself, and you'll get a response.
Thank you, Keith.
Yeah, I hope that was helpful.
Yes, of course it's helpful. And another question from media platforms asked about the course. One audiences asked about our required our course like TRGN 539 or 540, Translational Biotechnology Capstone Preparation. Would you please share your learning experience about these courses?
I think wasn't that just deciding what our capstone is kind of our final presentation, our summary of what we did in the program, or you could choose it to do that or based off of your internship. And I think the preparation for that was just kind of, you know, deciding what you were going to do and letting Dr. Lin know. And then I think the actual capstone itself was just putting all of that together, the presentation, the paper, and then giving the speech to your class or giving the presentation to your class.
Okay, thank you, Angela. Next one, this major translational biotechnology update from global biotechnology. Why we added the translational part? And would you please tell more about translational? This seems a new audience to our webinar, and Carol actually have already illustrated about it at the first time, right?
Yeah.
So Carol, would you please explain
Sure.
some to this one?
Right. So we started the program as a global biotechnology, and then a lot of issues that's really unrelated to the academic curriculum that we switch over to the department in translational genomic department. But the fact is that if you look at the curriculum even way back when it's still called the global biotechnology, it was already cover the same kind of translational emphasis. So when we switch over the department, academic is sort of like a very administrative decision. We decided to really use the name that really reflect the program better. And so now it's called translational biotechnology. But besides that, I think the global biotechnology and translational biotechnology is more about name. And the fact is that translational biotechnology by nature is global. You know, anything that we do is really all have the global consequences. So we felt that it's not necessary to keep the name global, but it's really important to really see that we are the translation rather than the pure biotechnology. So that's pretty much the difference out there. And right now there's no more global biotechnology, right now just translational biotechnology.
Thanks, Carol. And then, by the way, this audience, if you'd like to know more, please contact us to get the recording. Okay, the next one. There are some entrepreneurship or commercialization courses from our website where we give some guidance if students want to have startup.
Yes, so that's really, we have a required course that everybody has to take, this entrepreneurship and commercialization. And then if after that, if a student want to really go more into the entrepreneurial activity part of that, they can certainly take their additional electives. So Angela take the second part, the more deep dive part of it. And in fact, if I remember correctly, I didn't teach the course, but in that course, that Angela and her classmates, a very small class, 4 or 5 students, they actually participated in helping one of our faculty to start her, or the beginning to start her company. So you go through all the process there. And the process that you learn certainly is going to be really very beneficial if you want to start your own company. And then, we have faculty who will really help you or guide you, or probably will try to talk you out of it if they think that you are not ready. And so those will be really the part for those who really are thinking about the entrepreneurship part of it. And if that's the case, they probably want to take additional courses, and they can take courses from, they can take a couple more courses from Marshall School of Business.
Thank you, Carol.
Sure.
And next one is for Angela. Angela is focused on the business and sales instead of the lab research. When did you develop this path, and why? Will you have colleagues' background in marketing or just as the major in medical area?
No, my undergrad is in biology, but while I was in college, I was working in sales and marketing for totally different industry, like home service companies, solar, pest control, things like that. I knew that I wanted to do sales in the medical or healthcare industry, and so that was kind of my decision. I wasn't really drawn to pharmaceuticals. I really liked, engineering, software, things like that come with med tech. Did that answer the question, or was there another part of it?
Will you have colleagues' background in marketing or just the major in medical area?
Right. So yeah, no, just previous work experience, but also, in the program, I think I took that business and entrepreneurship, the second course, where you got to meet with this company. They specialize, it's an incubator and accelerator company that they're building here in Los Angeles. So they kind of give you ideas too of like different startups that are happening in like med tech or pharmaceuticals. So yeah, I think just hearing about what people are doing in the field, that I just knew more, it just reaffirmed that I wanted to do sales. But no, I didn't major in it. That was just a decision I made, and I thought I'd be good at it.
Thanks so much, Angela. Actually, we also have many questions in the media platforms. Yeah, but the time is limited. So is there anything else you would like to add before we conclude? Maybe some words to our audiences and potential applicants. And for the audiences, if you have any questions or further inquiries, please contact our professor. You could go to our official website and locate their email address or numbers. Okay, please, maybe we can do it one by one. Give some words.
I would just say that there's like no limit to what you could do career-wise in the program. I think it's really good to come in and kind of discover, like, just be open-minded. You may have an idea thinking you want to do research, but then you learn there's all these other things. Like the umbrella of biotechnology is so big, so many different companies. And I think the majority of us all ended up in different spaces. So I wouldn't shy away and think it's not for you and there's not a place for you. It's really, it's just so multidimensional. There's opportunities for everybody.
Next one. How about Keith?
Yeah, what Angela said was really well said. I agree. Take your time exploring all your options, and be sure to talk to Dr. Lynn a lot. She offers office hours like pretty much all day, every day. Okay, maybe not all day, every day, but like a lot. So, okay. Yeah, be sure to talk with her a lot because she offers a lot of guidance and also a lot of advice, especially whether it be homework or just career options. She always offers, some insight on like what might be a best fit for you or what other options might be out there for you. So that's a good thing to do. And more importantly, just soak everything all in. There's a lot of classes. The primer class, I mention it all the time, but it's great. Also the entrepreneurship class, if business might not be a thing for you at first, just keep an open mind, because I know a couple friends who weren't too into it at first, but they got into it by the end of the class and they moved on towards like a business route in biotech. So yeah, just take advantage of every opportunity and keep an open mind. Everything depends. And I say that all the time, but everything does depend. And that's what Dr. Lynn's going to tell you a lot as well. And yeah, have fun. Join the program, it's good.
Thank you, Case. How about Phoebe?
I definitely agree with Case. Like, talk to Dr. Lin more. That's the previous student tell me and he told me, and I definitely agree with that. Like, Dr. Lin just like can read my mind, like my facial expression, right? Sometimes it's like,
Yeah.
I know what you're thinking. You're thinking about it. Oh my god. Yeah, Dr. Lin just understand like us so well, and she has so much experience in this field with students. And also, I want to bring up a little bit like my experience during my interview. So many professors there, they were just so interested in my master majors. Like, what's that? And why like introduce our major and then tell me what I want to do for my career. It was like, oh, well, I wish all the students take those classes, have those insight about what's going on in the research, what they really think ahead and not like the really go right in front. I was like, I kind of have the same feeling, like this major gonna help me even after my PhD, this major gonna be the thing help me in my career the most.
Okay, Carol, as the last one.
Yeah. Well, what I want to say is that, first of all, that I really appreciate very much for Keith, Angela, and Phoebe to come out here and to really listen to what you think about the program. And the program, it's not easy. There are a lot of courses, a lot of hard courses, and there are a lot of work for you to do. And but I hope that our graduate sort of convince you that you learn something that's useful. But what I really want to say is a very, very important part about the program is the people you meet, the friend that you make, and the fun time that you work together. You complain together, but it's that friendship that I think is really very important. And to me is that I always want to make sure that this is not a program that you come here to take the class and you go home. Is you come home and you meet with people and you work with other people. So that's how I felt. And I felt that today they're listening to our graduate, that I felt that this is really it, that just to see how much you really bring up about that human element into the program. I think that's really very important. And so that's what I want to really emphasize about the program. And of course, if you have any question, if you you can reach out to me if you can find me. I'm sure you can, or reach out to International Academy, and they will really put you in touch with me. And I want to thank International Academy to really host this event. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Carol. Thank you. And also thanks so much for Angela, Keith, and Phoebe. It's really fantastic. So much useful information, and I'm sure our audiences have learned a lot. Okay, everyone, this will be the end of today's webinar. Thanks for joining us today. We will continue to have this series of webinars to bring cutting-edge knowledge and insights in different topics to you during this challenge period. This Saturday, which is June the 9th, we will invite Dr. Pacific and Dr. Church and Dr. Bain from USC School of Pharmacy to our Ask Ideas series to lead us to know more about innovation in medical product development. We will update details through our platform. So please stay tuned to our dynamic and see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Angela, Phoebe, and Kate. Thank you.
Thank you.